What's good, nerds? Welcome to another episode of Gaming Unplugged.
I should have said that at the ending.
Exactly.
You don't need to, because then we're going to get in trouble for it. Big trouble.
No, we won't.
No, it won't. What are they
for
gonna
saying
do?
the
Destroy
Okay.
us?
But like,
Yes.
All right, let's keep
we're
going.
here with Idris,
Hi.
Emmett, me, of course,
Gamers,
Yo, boy.
and Jeff.
this is a true gaming podcast.
It is.
Oh man,
Emmett, are you gonna be
Oh,
Joker
yeah,
voice
Joker.
the whole time?
Joker came out recently. Are we gonna make some epic Joker jokes?
Probably.
Yes, we should.
live
I haven't
in a
watched Joker.
society.
We live in a society where there isn't a new console Rayman.
Exactly.
Dead Rising, more like Dead Franchise. Am I right?
Speaking of dead franchises,
God, that's my line. I was gonna
Half-Life, more like
do the
half-dead.
segue.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, do it.
No, don't.
Alright, keep
Just go
going.
ahead. You did it already.
Speaking of dead franchises, Arthur, we're talking about dead franchises.
Well, then you just hand it back to me.
Yes.
Yes.
You are
You're the main
supposed.
character. You're the protagonist.
You're the shonen
No, not
hero.
Not that.
We're
He's
talk-
the leader of this
I'm
bunch.
the main protagonist. That's. I don't want to be the main protagonist.
Well, Ermin's
Too bad.
not here, so.
Okay, yeah. Let's just.
No one
Yeah.
is the main protagonist.
I'm the main protagonist.
Oh yeah,
Alright,
because you're
guys.
Joker. You're the only person in this room who can do a Joker impression.
All right, guys, let's get Society Squad up.
Dead franchises. What about them?
You see, people, we live in a society without a console Rayman.
Oh my God.
Let's
So let's start off with like, what does a dead franchise mean? Well, it's a game that hasn't received
Any
a game
reviews?
in a while. So, Rayman, for instance, Rayman does not count as a dead franchise because Ubisoft is giving us
mobile game.
That's heresy. We don't
Mo-
talk about it here.
Hey,
Mobile-
Rayman Mini is
I'm sorry,
a little
I can't say it with a straight face.
It's
Rayman
fine,
Mini
it's
is a little
fine.
more of a console
Sorry.
type game. than
Rayman.
the
See, I'm
other
actually-
mobile games.
Well, like when it comes to Rayman, I actually do enjoy how similar to the mainline games Rayman Adventures is, because it's like exploration based and like whatnot.
It's also Endless Runner.
Yeah.
With Rayman Origins and Legends, it's really nice actually. I enjoy the game itself and the art style.
I really need to pick up Rayman Origins and Legends.
Rayman
Although-
Oranges.
Although I do prefer
Lettuce.
Origins. Legends is really fun, but I kind of like the art style for Origins as well. Like, it's like a storybook type of art style with it.
Yeah, while like Rayman Legends looks more like a painting.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time. But what dead franchises do y'all want to talk about? Because I want to get into Dead Rising. Now,
Yes.
Dead Rising is a funny story. Dead Rising 1 was made by like Capcom in house, and it was really good, and I love it. But
Dead Rising 4 is up.
But the guy who used to do Mega Man, what's his name again?
Hideo
Hideo Kojima.
No,
Hideaki Itsuno.
no, not Hideaki Itsuno. He
No
does
wait,
Devil May Cry.
Itsuno does Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
Fuck.
and he still works
Um,
at Capcom.
Hideki Kamiya.
No,
No, that's Bayonetta.
yeah.
Random Japanese.
You
What's
know-
his name? What's his name? He did.
He did Mighty Number 9.
Oh my God! I'm drawing a complete blank. It's time to look this up. But yeah.
Epic.
Anyways,
That guy wanted to push wanted to push Capcom's appeal into the Western market. And the thing is, Capcom games were already big in
Keiji Inafune.
Yeah, Keiji Inafune. He wanted to appeal more to a Western audience. Oh, hey, Liv. And one of the ways he felt like they could achieve this is
Oh,
by
Who's outside? Hello.
is by
It's the outside
having.
people.
See, one way that Inafune believed he would be able to appeal to a Western demographic is to have some of their franchises be handled by Western developers. This led to the creation of DMC. And
TMC, the Devil May Cry reboot.
yes,
Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry.
yeah,
Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry.
yeah, and And it spawned some pretty good games, like the 2D Bionic Commando games. Those were developed by a Swedish.
Ooh, we want to talk about a dead franchise.
Oh yeah,
Bionic
that's super dead.
Commando.
You know what else is a dead franchise?
What?
But let's
Half-Life
not get
series.
back on track.
Let's get back on
But
track,
let's
though.
get back on track on
So
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising,
Dead
it
Rising.
did not sell well in Japan. Or at least I don't think it did. Did it?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
one thing's for sure, they wanted Inafune wanted to
Or no, I think I'm thinking of Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set
Which we
Radio.
get
is-
into.
Jet Set Radio is also a dead franchise.
Yeah.
We'll
But-
get into that later. Let's get back to Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Inafune
Oh my God.
wanted to appeal more to the American demographic, and
Okay.
so he decided, well, why don't I give you guys, Blue Castle Games, the reins to make the sequel to Dead Rising?
Dead Rising 2. Now,
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest here. I really don't like Dead Rising 2. Like, I love the first game, and Dead Rising 2 really is more of the same. But the engine that runs on is slow and like not enjoyable. The story sucks. No, that's Devil May Cry.
Hmm?
That's Devil May Cry.
Okay.
It's like, it's just one interesting concept though was combo weapons. And Dead Rising 2, for what it's worth, it's still a very good game, and it's one of the better ones in the series. But then the game that came after it, which was also developed by Blue Castle Games,
Which became Capcom Vancouver.
exactly, they went on to make Dead Rising 3, which
They also made Dead Rising 2, but instead, Frank
off the record,
Yeah, off the
yeah, which was basically the same game, but like with a few extra things,
and Frank
and Frank as the main character,
and Frank is the main character.
Okay.
But Dead Rising 3, Dead Rising 3 it wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. It had some flaws, but I enjoyed it
Is
a bit.
is it much less comedic than the first two?
It's a lot darker, yes.
Yeah.
I think the comedy in that game is more just like weird, gross out stuff. Like
Okay.
the fat lady in the scooter,
Medieval.
the guy in the guy who's like into BDSM.
That's cool.
Both of those
The
are bosses.
fanboy.
Both of those are bosses.
A
that you fight.
fanboy who named himself Kick, even though.
he.
Did you not?
Stop.
Wait, did you not see that boss fight?
I-
Or play
I-
the boss fight? I mean.
I think I did. No,
It
no,
was
no.
like-
I know I did.
Yeah, it was like Nick and then some guy.
Oh, no,
For 3.
Kick.
Yeah,
He
Kick.
called himself Kick.
Yes.
Oh,
With the guy
yeah.
with the.
Oh, that was the guy who was like the incel who like spent years in his mom's basement playing video games,
Yeah.
and
Are
he
you
was
sure
just
he was
upset
an
how
incel?
and he was upset how he wasn't the main character.
Right.
It
Oh.
wasn't like a fourth wall break type thing,
It was
but
more
it was
just fanboy.
it was more just like really.
Sad.
Yeah, they really try to make it seem like sad and like
Except that's not how it works.
It's not how incels work either, but okay.
But let's not talk about incels too much. And then we got
Incel
okay, but Dead
rage.
Rising 3 was a step in the wrong direction, but it was still okay. And then we got Dead Rising 4, which
Suck.
Sucked massive
Okay,
donkey.
okay, now
So let's not say Dead Rising 4 is that bad.
I
to say.
absolutely despise Dead Rising 4 and everything it stands for. It is the worst game in the series and honestly one of the worst games I played when it came out, in the year it came out. And I don't understand how Capcom Vancouver could have even had the balls to make a game that astonishingly bad. It's not even a bad Dead Rising game. It's a bad game in general. Just the terrible difficulty design, the shoddy level design and enemy design. The story is bad. They got rid of the timer. They got rid of like inventory. The inventory is a mess now. It's some shitty GTA system where you gotta spin a roulette wheel and you gotta like select your item.
They got rid of Frank's voice actor.
Well, they kept playing on that fact that like, oh, Frank is back, but it might as well be a different character, which is also it's a really shitty like marketing ploy to like
Also, the
make
continuation for DLC, like how Frank turned into his own.
you have to buy the ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Which
you know,
is great.
a
which is
similar thing
great.
happened with
Bionic Commando.
no Asura's Wrath. Remember that?
Oh, that game.
Yeah, that
I
same thing
remember.
happened with that, but I think it was much more
It felt more God of War,
forgiving
I think.
because the story altogether was pretty good. But you can't say that for Dead Rising 4.
No, see, Dead Rising
Sometimes-
4 is like the exact opposite of every other Dead Rising game, and I hate it.
It
And-
goes back to the comedic tone, but
I-
it's not funny.
I do think
Not
the
funny, you
comedy
can't laugh.
and like the slapstick sort of stuff was like really overplayed in like 4 because like the combo weapons were like batshit insane, and I actually don't really like them because again the combat in that game isn't fun. The the inventory is like a mess. The enemies are like pitifully easy. You can just like jump through entire crowds of zombies, and the vehicles are bad. The open world exploration is lazy and not fun. So much of that game is just unenjoyable filler,
So like a huge mess.
and it
of
doesn't even.
jokes.
It's not even like, yeah, because like it tries to recapitalize on like Dead Rising's humor, but it's like, it's not funny.
Not
Didn't
funny.
laugh.
Not
And
funny. Didn't laugh.
And-
Can I also talk about a dead franchise?
Before you do that, let me just finish up real quick.
Go ahead.
So Dead Rising 4 got a few DLC packs. One of which was Capcom Heroes, which lets you Dre-
Capcom Heroes.
which lets you dress Frank up as like a bunch of Capcom characters like Dante and Beautiful Joe, and
Which Dante?
And- oh, I'm so sorry. That's another Dead franchise.
No, I feel a disturbance.
I feel a disturbance of the Force.
No, fan art of Frank West in Cammy outfit.
Stop.
No, that was real. That was in the
Yeah,
game.
I know that's real, but I can see the fan art of porn right now.
Stop.
No. There's actually no. That doesn't. I haven't seen that, and I don't want to honestly.
Good, don't.
But then,
don't.
unfortunately, after the failure of Dead Rising 4, because it sold badly, Capcom Vancouver shut down, and after only like what, 3 games, they only made Dead Rising games.
Well, they made mostly Dead Rising games. They did some other games before they were bought by Capcom.
Oh, I'm sure they did, but
Yeah.
like once they were bought out, it was just Dead Rising.
Yeah, it was just Dead Rising.
which is a shame.
And then Capcom announced that they were going to make the next Dead Rising game in house.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah, they said that Dead Rising was going to be made in house from now on.
Reboot or original?
I don't know.
It's probably the original.
Okay.
But anyways, you wanted to talk about something. Go ahead.
Okay. You remember the good old days where platformers were really fun, and during that modern time, it still is fun. Here's a platformer that that usually caught my eye, Gex.
Oh, Gex. You really like Gex, actually.
It is a
Gex.
really good platformer. I've played it, and Gex had its first appearance on the 3DO, another console that never really saw the light of day either.
It was like it was.
That was
well,
also
'cause
its
that was also because it was like really expensive too.
Yeah, and also like its first appearance was on the game's first appearance was on there too, the 2D Gex, which I kind of liked as well, because with the game itself, the stages I felt more like original, I gotta say, and it was parodies of different like TV genres as well.
Yeah, it was like the cover had like the Gex.
Static. Yeah.
The cover of the game had like the Gex like with a fucking like
Playboy.
supermodel lady.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it
for
turns
the
out
third
she was a
game.
Playboy art on
Model.
Playboy magazine.
She was a Playboy model. Wow.
Yeah, that
that's-
was
Yeah.
odd, huh?
And
that's-
in the PlayStation version
Oh,
of
yeah.
Gex
And
3, they kind of...
Gex is a kids game though, right?
Gex is a
That's
kids game,
disgusting.
but you could say the same about Ratchet and Clank, and people still
Well,
wouldn't give a
Ratchet and
shit.
Clank is more like just crude humor.
Yeah.
right?
Used to be crude.
You know what else?
Then they
Okay,
had to
so yeah, with
soften up.
Damn.
But yeah, again, Gex really hasn't seen that much. He hasn't really gotten that much popularity over the years because they only had 3 games. I'm not counting the Game Boy colored ones because those were ass, and I
Oh
don't,
no.
I don't like them. The same thing with Resident Evil. I don't like that either.
They were...
Okay, so yeah, Gex, fun, and also, what else was there? They also made their return on PlayStation, I guess, PlayStation 1
A
with.
few games on N64.
Yeah, a few games on N64.
No.
They were fun for the most part, but they only with Gex 1 they lacked save data. They only lacked like the fact you can save your game. They didn't use that in the PS1 version. And also,
Huh.
Gex itself as a character, I kind of like. He's very comedic at some point, and the voice actor playing him as well for the US, it's like
Oh yeah, it does a great job.
yeah, he does a really good job, and the story, not like breathtaking or just like really.
complex.
Yeah, it's
But
it's
it's-
just original. It's just normal. It's just that simple. Like a gecko getting sucked into a TV and now has to fight his way into different genres of TV.
I'd like to talk about a dead franchise.
Ooh, go ahead.
Sure.
All right, so you know how Heavy Iron made SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and they made 3 more games that were pretty good.
3 more SpongeBob games, or
Or 2 more. The movie game and Truth or Square. Truth or Square wasn't as good as the first 2, but movie game was on a similar level to Battle for Bikini Bottom. Movie game and Bikini Bottom both are different games. The Battle for Bikini Bottom collectathon movie game, a linear platformer.
oh,
Yeah, it's similar to Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2.
Wait, hold on. There's one thing I gotta say. Nick, find it in your heart to remake Nicktoons Unite, please.
oh my God, we
Please.
need a Nicktoons Unite remake. Oh my God, yes. But
Please
anyway, go
find it
on,
in your
Emmett.
heart.
All right, they worked on another franchise, Family Guy.
Oh my God.
They made Family Guy Back to the Multiverse, the only game they made, and it got negative reviews. But I enjoyed the game.
Oh yeah, you said you played it.
I owned the game. I
said
owned the
you
game
wanted-
on Xbox 360.
You said you wanted to do like a review on it one day.
Yes.
Are you
We
going to
might
do
we
your
might
review?
just like let you sit in the studio for like your own half hour. You walk in like
I want to do an animated review. With
no,
my
but
own
like
animated
you
game.
come in like with
Yeah,
a script,
you-
right?
yeah.
And then you
do a
record your own
script,
lines.
Yeah, and I
we
record
have
my own-
someone animate it.
Hell,
Or
if
I
you
can
want,
animate.
we could voice act.
Oh yeah, you guys can
we
voice.
You
it.
could.
play a bad character.
If you want to put some
Hey,
lore
hey,
in your
Lois.
videos.
I do want to put lore in my video.
I want lore in our videos, honestly.
Yes.
Like I want like some weird underlying thing.
Undertale.
Like how
But
there's
it's a
constant,
podcast.
No, yeah, but like
Sexual
we can do
tension
something like that on the
between
podcast, right?
the main character.
Sparkster.
What? I'm just telling you.
Ooh, Sparkster.
Sparkster the Rocket Knight. That is one game I've heard of a lot, but never. But I have gotten to play it actually.
Rocket Knight Adventures is a very obscure series. I
It
don't
really-
think I don't know anyone who's played it actually.
It's been a while since that game actually had a
What is our recording say?
Oh wait, there was also like a 3D Sparkster as well. A 3D 2.
Really?
Yeah, 2D 3D Sparkster game, but nobody liked that one. That's the thing.
What about you, Jeff? You got any dead franchise you want to
Well,
talk about?
I got-
Sparkster for
I
Smash,
got
please.
I got 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
Go with yeah.
Half-Life, Duke Nukem,
Ooh,
and
Knights.
should we talk about Deus Ex?
I kind of want to talk about.
Yeah, that one seems very dead.
All
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
let's
know
do it.
anything about Deus Ex actually,
Uh,
so
ooh.
tell me about this.
Deus Ex is a very interesting game. I'll start off with the first game because I played that the most. Deus Ex is a story about a guy named JC Denton, of course, and he goes around with these cybernetics, and he's going around. It's a nice shooter. It's a nice RPG. It's very different from most RPGs because
It was a shooter.
yeah, it's a shooter RPG. I mean, except for Strife, but no one remembers Strife, so it doesn't count. Deus Ex is the game that everyone remembers.
All
and
the kids love the shooter.
There was the main feature that I think made it amazing isn't the music, isn't the gameplay, or any of that. It's the story. Because the first story, it's just a generic, you have to stop the bad guy and terrorism. That's fine. But the thing is, it's the conspiracy theories.
Oh,
You make
Like-
Jeff, the way you made it sound, it kind of felt like Metal Gear to me almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like Metal Gear, except Deus Ex. I guess you could say the American version of Metal Gear.
Well,
when
it
comes to
takes itself more
conspiracies.
seriously than Metal
Is-
Gear.
Yeah.
is Metal Gear not American?
Well, it's a Japanese game.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
talking
know.
about in production.
Oh, Metal
wise.
Gear 5 is more American.
Metal Gear
Like,
Revengeance
Deus Ex is an
more
American game made.
No, that Revengeance is definitely Japanese.
But yeah,
Damn.
it's the story. Like you'll see references to the Illuminati, Freemasons, and so on. The internet blowing up, AI awakening, and so on. And it's also how you see the homeless after homeless after homeless.
Sam and Max.
Are you okay? Go on.
There's a lot of social
Let's
issues.
let him finish, man.
There's a lot of social issues that reference, like homelessness, how the rich are getting so powerful that you don't even know who they really are anymore. They're so disconnected from society. They have their own cult.
Ooh.
When I mean cult, I mean their own
Hmm?
social class that's so isolated. They're like normal people. You mean numbers?
Oh my god.
I only care about money, degenerate.
Grr, 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 grr.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs.
And
from the
you,
Nintendo.
the cybernetic, you, JC Denton, have several choices. You could be loyal to your company. I mean, UNATCO, or you can revolt and join your brother. I won't spoil the rest of the series, but God,
You know-
it's an
You know,
amazing
if they hadn't released a new one, we could have talked about Postal.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
Postal,
Postal
was a dead
used
game.
But
used
it's
to be-
not. But it's not anymore.
They got
You
the
know,
guy who
Jeff-
voiced Duke Nukem to voice
Yeah.
the Postal.
Yeah, yeah.
They-
James,
sadly-
James,
yeah.
okay, but okay.
Don't you usually
but
like that in
one,
video games?
but one series. We actually, how long are we running? Because
What I really like about video games is like you get to choose what goes on in the story. You don't just have to watch an entire cutscene. You
yeah,
actually get to-
like Telltale Games. And speaking of Telltale Games, Sam and Max.
Ooh, I miss Sam and Max.
Sam and Max. Oh my god.
Like-
You want to talk about like point and click adventure games? Sam and Max is like one of the OGs.
I haven't played it.
I-
I'm gonna be
like,
honest.
they-
Sam and Max Hit the Road came out on MS-DOS, alright?
It was
I had
developed by
MS-DOS.
Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm. That shit is old. But then they lost the license. But then people from LucasArts were like, you know what? Fuck you. Telltale Games was founded, and we got Sam and Max Save the World. Now, Telltale is weird because like their games are all like episodic and shit. And
they give you chances to actually
Yeah, and-
talk
but-
like decisions for the character as well.
yeah, and like that's cool for like point and click games because point and clicks are normally really short.
Yeah, putt putt.
Oh my god, Putt Putt
I
was my
love putt putt.
Putt Putt was my jam
But
back in
first, let's
elementary.
skip-
Okay,
Back in
let's go
elementary
let's go
school,
back,
when
let's
my
go back.
school had a bunch of like old ass Macs, I used to play Putt Putt.
I
But
Super
played
Sam
the
and
Chick
DOS
Sisters.
games.
but Sam and
Okay,
But-
go ahead.
Yeah, Sam and Max.
we don't talk about that.
Super Chick Sisters.
We don't.
Don't talk about it. Shh.
But anyways, Sam and Max, this underground comic became like a huge like video game franchise and basically like pioneered like modern point and clicks.
can
I mean,
agree
that
with
might be
Well-
that might be an exaggeration.
That's
but,
Yeah,
not an
like,
because like
exaggeration.
Telltale did not use the formula. Did not use the formula for Sam and Max for their 2010s games like Walking Dead or
yeah, that was before actually they started doing that.
yeah.
And with the underground comic like nature of like the characters, it was very like adult humor.
Oh yes.
There's a lot of humor going around. In
Made
Sam
a
and
lot
Max.
of sex jokes. Made a lot of dick jokes, and it's but like
It
some
transformed.
jokes made a lot of like pop culture references. All this really obscure stuff
That's what made it
that
funny.
like kids reading comics would never get.
Oh yeah, they usually just say like overly complicated words for the kids to not
Like,
even understand.
What's one phrase? And I'll just put it in there. But yeah, it's oh my god. But unfortunately, Telltale is kind of what's the status on Telltale?
Um,
actually?
I
They were
think-
dead last
at least
time,
they
I
got-
remember.
Poker night at the inventory. and
Nope,
Nope.
those games aren't on Steam anymore.
No, I mean
What?
like that was.
No,
the
yeah, they
appearance.
took down PokerNet. You can't buy it.
No, I
I
mean-
have it. Haha.
No, I mean like
Damn.
with.
And
Can
my
you
father.
can you give me your Steam account?
No.
Honestly,
You
No, I
can
mean, like,
you
with Sam
can
and
give him
Max,
the
that was
game. Like you can give him the game on Steam.
No, I mean like with Sam and
Instant as
Max,
a
it was
gift.
the appearance. I'm
I
talking
don't
about like
have
the
a gift.
appearance where what besides Sam and Max themselves, like what games have they gotten into?
Sam and Max for Smash. Sam and Max for Smash.
Oh my god. we're
Sam
gonna
and Max
start
But
for
let's
again.
get
Smash.
serious.
Let's get serious.
I know why. I think there's only one real reason why Sam and Max probably aren't getting a new game. It's probably because the rights might have reverted back to the original owner before they got bankrupt.
Well,
Uh,
I'm sure Steve Purcell would be fine with working with Telltale again.
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
at the same time, Telltale did get back on its feet, but not the main studio. It's like a
Oh,
different studio somewhere else.
It's like a
Yeah.
skeleton team
Yes. They have mostly none of the rights to the previous stuff they've been working on. They only have the rights to Batman and like probably The Wolf Among Us. I think was that an original game they made?
now.
I
No, it
don't
was based
know.
on a comic.
Oh.
Yeah. So and they only had the rights to do Batman and The Wolf Among Us, but I don't think they'll probably do that. But still, they're mostly dead. Like Minecraft.
Minecraft Story Mode.
That's
Minecraft Story Mode is just on Netflix now.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I can't
That's
play
what they
it.
spent. That's what they
Love
had the
that
remaining
series.
people there do. Just make Minecraft story mode. And there's a reason why Telltale failed. Their technology wasn't up to par,
That's true. They use the same engine for every single one of their
and
games.
they didn't bother to make a new one because they want to make money. Because ever since the success of The Walking Dead, they were like, "Hey, this game got critically acclaimed and make money. We can use the same engine because people. That's why people love the game. It was the engine. Except
Not the
people
story.
don't. Except people don't
Oh
know the
no.
engine.
Oh no.
Do you wanna do so?
Okay, so there's a lot of franchises I want to talk about, but one of them, Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh,
Now-
it's dead as.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was the last game in the series, and unfortunately, it didn't go out with such a bang. It went out with a sputter,
Fuse.
a tiny spark, and then it just dissipated
A weak
into
little
ash.
flutter. A weak little flutter before.
And it's
We're
really
talking about-
depressing. Marvel, okay, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was my first fighting game, and now I love fighting games. I played Street Fighter 2 for the first time. I played Dragon Ball Fighters. I started playing
Skullgirls you played.
Skullgirls. I got into competitive Smash, and I think all of that is just due to how much I played Marvel.
Marvel vs. Capcom used to have the
And
greatest games.
I started playing Marvel 3 hella late. I got it less than a year before Marvel Infinite was announced,
Oh yeah.
and I was I was excited for Marvel Infinite, but the more and more we saw of that game getting revealed slowly but surely, the less I was excited for it
The
because
less interesting it was.
well the worse it looked with each trailer.
There was internal conflict with Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, I'm
Infinite.
sure there was.
Yeah,
And the
because-
fact that we've established this
Yeah.
before, how Disney probably doesn't even care about Capcom anymore.
Yeah. The thing is,
And I love Marvel vs. Capcom, and I would love to see a new game, but unfortunately, I don't think that's in the
I don't
cards.
think we're ever gonna try
Marvel
getting
vs.
enough the
Capcom-
same, just like with the others.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite
know.
was controlled. The story was controlled by Marvel, and
Oh,
you see,
yes.
Capcom they wanted to do a typical a Devil May Cry like story where it's very fun storyline that might have some deep underlying messages.
Wacky yet serious.
But it's very over the top and it's very fun because it's a fighting game. But Marvel wanted it to be like the MCU.
And you can really see that when you watch some of the cutscenes, when you
Iron
listen,
Man
listen to
was-
some of the lines.
They
The
got
Dante and Iron Man high.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a terrible interaction. I hate it.
because
Even the interactions, like everybody just saying their names all of a sudden.
The,
There's
Don-
a
the
pro-
Dante Iron Man high five. It is
No, that's a real-
probably the worst scene in that entire game.
the
No,
thing
that's a real
is,
bro
the
moment.
thing is,
That's a real.
Marvel shouldn't have done that because characters like the Resident Evil characters or Dante, they're not MCU type characters.
They aren't
Wait,
at
Resident
all.
Evil?
They are very different.
They're very Japanese and
They're very
very not serious or
the
brooding.
game was written by by a comic book writer. And the thing is, they should have just had two people writing the game. One from Marvel and one from Capcom. Maybe Bingo Morihashi, the guy who writes Devil May Cry.
You know, oh wait.
They could have wrote the story of Marvel Infinite because he knows more about the Capcom characters, while the Marvel guy knows more about the Marvel characters because that's his job.
Wait, so they only had one writer?
Yeah, and he's from Marvel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh. Also, one interesting thing about Marvel Infinite is that it has more Marvel characters than Capcom characters.
That's what I kind of.
And it doesn't even have Wolverine.
No Wolverine, no
No
Phoenix
Deadpool.
Wright, no Deadpool, no
No
Beautiful
Beautiful
Joe. It's
They-
just so disappointing on every front, and
They
it's
go-
really just a shame.
They
the series-
wanted MCU.
It's a shame the series had to go out like that.
No Captain
It had to go on
Commando.
a. It had to go on a whimper. And the story mode thing could have worked.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay,
if
yeah, that's what I want.
There was better communication with Capcom, and not only that, but just having two people, both from both from America and Japan writing the game. Because Marvel characters, they're American characters. And Capcom characters, they're mostly Japanese. And you only get mostly the Japanese characters for the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And Marvel right now, right back when the series began, they were fine with the characters looking like Street Fighter anime characters. But right now, since Marvel's a bigger brand, they wanted them to look more like how they would normally look in the comics.
But then they still look like shit. Spider-Man doesn't have a neck in that game.
The graphics. All right, no, I'm
No,
a.
let's not.
I'm a
Okay,
guy.
let's not get too into Marvel Infinite. We can
I
save
was
that
gonna-
for an episode on
Yeah,
like
let's-
fighting games.
I was
But
gonna say,
you want to talk?
Yeah, I was gonna say again, MVC Infinite. The one thing I did kind of hate about that I did find out is like most of these characters are just for this story basically. That's the kind of bad part I kind of find in the MVC Infinite.
And some
too.
story characters are in the story, like the Monster Hunter.
I mean, I understand. but
They were left for DLC.
They were
that's
characters
the
that
weird-
showed up in the story mode ended up becoming DLC, like Black Panther and Monster Hunter. and
Sigma was DLC.
Sigma was DLC, but Ultron wasn't.
And yet he's the
Sigma.
he's also the main
Sigma
antagonist
is
in that
one
game.
of-
Both of those characters are the main antagonists,
That's
and
what
yet
I
you
ca-
had to buy Sigma. That's bullshit. But
Seriously,
anyways,
that's-
that's enough about. Or, no, you want to keep going?
I was gonna say that's what I hated about MVC Infinite. It's like you added these characters in the story, and yet you add them for DLC without even being part of the game itself.
No,
They're like, hey, here's these cool characters doing these cool things in these cutscenes, except they don't even do much in those cutscenes. But you want to play as them? Nope. Fuck you.
The
Buy our $5 DLC. $5 for each character.
The only original thing that
Which I
happened,
guess is
like
fine, but like, come on.
the only people that weren't part of the story was like the Winter Soldier and Black Widow, and that was about it.
like,
And
there's
Venom.
probably like,
Yeah,
there's
and
probably like
Venom.
one good character interaction, and that was probably between the Hulk and Ryu.
That was actually, I liked that cutscene actually. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
Then again,
that was like probably
yeah.
the only one.
But
The-
that's enough of
The
Marvel
thing is,
Infinite.
but the
Yeah,
thing is,
that's a-
Ryu is
Ooh,
pretty
okay.
well known in Japan.
yes, I think we're
In
gonna.
America.
Okay, so we actually ran out of time, but one more game I want to talk about. Sit down real quick. Just I want to get this off my chest.
Okay.
Disney's Epic Mickey.
Oh, you love that game.
I love that game. I'm never gonna live this down. Disney still owns the IP. They only ported the second game to Steam. Port the first game to Steam, please, Disney. Make a new one. I don't care. Maybe revive that canceled kart racing game. In fact,
Mickey
the
Karts.
creator of Epic Mickey, Warren Spector, was also the creator of Deus Ex.
And
Oh.
and also Fable.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he created Fable.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
Wow.
Fable.
yeah.
I remember playing Fable on the Connect.
Oh wait, there's one thing I gotta say too.
you. Oh, I feel so bad
Wait,
for
there's
you,
one thing I
buddy.
gotta say too.
You-
Square Enix, you fucking still have the contract to Gex. Please make if you
They
don't
have the-
want.
They
if
they own Gex.
they fucking
Yeah.
have the contract. Yes.
Yeah, they
But
bought the guys who made
if,
Gex.
if Crystal Dynamics doesn't want to make a game, at least let somebody do it.
Oh my god, we need a new The Blob game. I know THQ Nordic still
Blob.
owns that IP.
And they love to revive franchises.
I
You
know
what
we
should be
can...
revived?
Ape Escape.
Half-Life. Damn it, Valve. Do something.
Valve's too busy getting
You know what needs a remake?
stuck in
Ape Escape
money.
1.
I don't want Hat Down the Freeman to be the
I don't-
last Half-Life game.
Was it like? Is it canon?
No,
No.
but it should be. I mean, what?
Sonic
need-
06 isn't canon. So
Okay,
why would it?
we're okay. Unfortunately,
Sonic
we're,
06 is a dead one,
Let's
isn't
do
it?
our
un-
outro.
unfortunately, we're out of time.
Leave your answers in
No,
the
no, no,
comments
no.
below.
We're gonna get banned.
Emmett,
in Jap-
Emmett.
We're gonna get
just do the
banned in
outro.
China.
Fortnite. I really want some Fortnite.
Okay, that's enough.
Alright,
But
outro.
anyways, that's it. We're good.
Goodbye, gamers.
We'll probably do a part 2 on this because there's a
Yeah.
lot I want to talk
Part
about.
two.
There's
actually.
a lot too.
But
Let's do
yeah,
part 2.
just stay good, nerds.
All right,
Stay
goodbye.
good.
All right, gamers.
You know, there was also another
Let's
evil I
take
forgot to talk about. too.
society by the balls.
Leo from Promare is very hot and I love him. Ooh.